Hey everybody, it's time for the children's sermon. Just reading from the Usborne book of Bible stories, and we're continuing on our journey through the stories that they have to tell us. And today we are going to read one. It's a fan favorite, David and Goliath. Oh, you've heard this story before. It's about a young boy named David. He was probably 12 years old when this story took place. And Goliath was this huge giant who was 9 feet tall, maybe? Anyways, let's hear the story. It's a good one. Here we go. This is David. He lived a long time ago in Israel. He looked after his father's sheep out on the hills. David was very brave. He fought lions and bears which tried to kill the sheep. He thought God kept him safe. He went to the army camp. David's father asked him to take food to his 3 brothers. They were soldiers in King Saul's army. The 2 armies watched each other. The King Saul's army looked across the valley. They saw their enemies, the Philistines, on the other side. One soldier was a giant. His name was Goliath. He was a huge and very strong man. He had a spear and a sword. Every day he shouted a challenge. "Send 1 man to fight me," he yelled. But King Saul's soldiers were too scared to go. "I will fight him," said David. "You are only a boy," said King Saul. "God has helped me to kill bears and lions," said David. "You may go," said King Saul, "but you must wear my fighting clothes." David put them on, but they were much too big and heavy. David took off the clothes. He picked up 5 small stones from his sling, and then he walked across the valley to fight Goliath. Goliath laughed at him. "Come here, boy," he said, "and I will kill you." David said, "God will help me to fight you." David put a stone in his sling. He swung it around his head. Faster and faster, he let it go, and the little stone flew out. The stone hit Goliath. It hit the giant right in the middle of his forehead. He fell down on the ground. David ran up to Goliath. The giant lay quite still. David saw that he was dead. The little stone had killed him. King Saul's army cheered. The Philistine soldiers were frightened and they ran away. King Saul's army chased them. David had won. All the people in Israel were delighted by his victory. They danced and sang songs about David. All right, time to lock up the building for the night. What's the code again? Ooh, I got that little card that they gave me. Here we go. All right. Okay, time to upload all my sermons to this computer with this jump drive. Everything I've ever written. Here we go. Ow, there is just something bothering me all day. What? A tiny rock in my shoe. All right. Well, that was a good story. What I love about David and Goliath is it tells us a story about this completely unassuming, unsuspecting, innocent little boy who somehow defeats the giant that was terrifying his people. God seems to always do this. God uses something so insignificant, so small, to do amazing work. Even in that story, they talked about how it was just a little stone that defeated Goliath. It was little David, and it was a little stone, and that is how God chose to save God's people. It's a good reminder. There's little things in our life that can have really big importance, can't they? Like that little card that I have that has the alarm codes for the whole church on it. Oh my goodness, don't want to lose that. And there's this jump drive, just this tiny little jump drive, but somehow it holds every sermon I've ever written on it. Oh my gosh, don't want to lose that. Or even, have you ever had a stone in your foot? Just a little rock in your shoe? It's just a tiny little rock. Huh, but it can be so annoying, can't it? And I think that it's a good reminder that for you, if you're just a little kid, if people say that you're too young, don't listen to them, because God always seems to use something unassuming, like yourself. People might say, like, oh, you're just a little kid. You can't possibly make a difference. No, you can. Because God can use you to do amazing things. God never looks and says, like, oh, that person's big and important, and so that's who I'm going to choose. No. God seems to always choose a little shepherd like David, or a little baby like Jesus. Jesus was just a baby born in a little town called Bethlehem, but what he went on to do changed the course of human history, saved the world, saved you and me. So I want you to think about that this week. What little things in your life could have big significance? Or better yet, here's your homework. What little thing can you do to show the world God's love? Just something little could have such a huge impact. I'm Pastor Nate. This is the Jump Drive that contains everything I've ever written. And this has been your children's sermon for this week. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.